Welcome back. President Biden expected to propose almost doubling the capital gains tax rate. That increase would tax Americans making over $1 million, 39.6% in cap gains. The current top rate is 20%. This is a big tax increase. Here's Jen Psaki.
The president's calculation is that there's a need to modernize our infrastructure. There's a need to invest in childcare. There's a need to invest in early childhood education and making our kids and the workers of the next generation more competitive. And he should propose a way to pay for it. His view is that should be on the backs, that can be on the backs of the wealthiest Americans who can afford it and corporations and businesses who can afford it.
Yes, there's always people that can afford it, taxed to death. These are expected to be released next week as part of the tax increases to fund Biden's American Families Plan. We're going to bring in business market analyst and author of The Cure, Seth Denson, to break this down further. Seth, good to see you.
Rob, good to be with you.
All right, so if you look at the numbers here in New York, the combined state and federal capital gains rate would be as high as 52.2%, and for Californians, even higher. Tell me how big of a deal this is.
Well, it's a significant deal. And again, the left and President Biden, his administration wants to say, well, this is just on those folks that can afford it, right? But they don't understand basic economics. Basic economics is that trickle economics is real. And this is going to create higher cost of goods. But here's something that people aren't thinking about. When this cap gains happens, it's going to cause big investors to pull money out of the stock market. So when you wake up in the morning, middle class, that 401k, it's not going to look as pretty as it did today.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've already seen a little bit of that. It definitely dived down later this afternoon, didn't it?
Yeah, about 1%. The market sold off today just on the news alone.
Yeah, absolutely. What sort of impact could these tax increases have on efforts to get the country fully open again? And talking about the economy, we're trying to come back from something pretty tough here. Raising taxes right now isn't too bright, in my opinion.
Well, it's not. And again, a lot of the emphasis is on, hedge funds and billionaires and big investors. But the reality is the middle class and small business owners largely were kicked during this pandemic. And a lot of people that have forgotten about this are those small business owners who invest their entire lives in their businesses. What this is going to do in their legacies is when they got to try to go sell those businesses, they're not going to pay double the tax rate. So they're not going to make a higher level of capital investment in their business to improve things, to bring more people on, to grow their business, because quite frankly, they're not going to get the return anymore.
That's interesting. Speaking of COVID here for a second, I want you to take a listen to a Georgia mom who's fed up with the state's mask mandate for kids. Listen to this.
But it's April 15th, 2021, and it's time. Take these masks off of my child. And forcing 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9-year-old little children to cover their noses and their mouths where they breathe for 7 hours a day, every day for the last 9 months for a virus that you know doesn't affect them. That is not in their best interest, and this has to stop.
You can feel her pain. She's not the only one fed up. Senators Mike Lee and Rand Paul sent a letter to the CDC today saying, we know COVID doesn't impact or infect young children. Why are we forcing them to wear masks? What do you say to all this?
Well, yeah, listen, CDC and Dr. Fauci's opinion on masks has been, well, kind of like what we say about weather here in Texas. Wait 5 minutes, it's going to change. I'm still stuck on the 2 weeks to slow the spread, right? Well, now what? We're 13 months into that now. Yeah. And so it's understandable that parents, I'm a parent, I've got 3 kids, I'm frustrated at this. And the largest piece of the frustration is the lack of consistency and, quite frankly, the lack of honesty.
Right. 15 days to slow the spread, coming up on day 400. Seth Denson, good to see you as always, my friend.
Thanks, buddy.
Coming up.